This is Math 8, Section 1.3, Power of a Power. First, let's understand raising a power to a power. Simple. You can use the order of operations to evaluate the expression 2 to the power of 4 cubed. We can understand this expression. Let's first evaluate inside the parentheses 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. We have the base 4 times because the exponent is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The whole thing is cubed. Let's evaluate what's inside it. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16, all to the power of 3. That was inside the parentheses. Let's evaluate this. 16 times 16 times 16. And we can find that the whole thing is 4,096. This is one way to do it. Not as easy. And you can't do it if this is an algebraic number because you couldn't keep it. It would just take a long time. You could do it, but it would take a while. So let's have a quicker way. We could evaluate this expression. Again, we'll separate it out. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 cubed. We're going to separate it out even further. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. We fully expanded it because it's cubed, so it's 3 times the whole expression. And let's just label this. We have 3 groups of 4 factors, 4 factors in each. You could also write this as, there's 12 here, right? So since we have 12, to get to 12 using the numbers 3 and 4, all you have to do is say 2 to the power of 4 times 3. Because 4 times 3 equals 12 factors of the base number 2. 12 factors of the base number 2. Okay, just think about that for a second. Hope it makes sense. If you have 1 inside the parentheses, 1 outside the parentheses, you are going to multiply the exponents. So this whole expression equals 2 to the power of 12, which equals 4,096. Same number as we got up here. You can also use the same method to evaluate n squared to the power of 5. So n times n to the power of 5. Spread it out. N times n, n times n, n times n, n times n, n times n. 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we end up getting 5 groups of 2 factors. 5 groups of 2 factors is n. 2 times 5, we use the power of a power property. This gives us 2 times 5, which equals 10 factors of n. That makes our whole expression equal to n to the power of 10. That is simplified. Here is your main idea, thing you need to memorize. Write this down. Definitely highlight it. A to the power of m to the power of n equals a m times n, or you could write it as a m n. This is your power of raising a power to a power property. Now, we should have learned this all in class because you did a little hands-on activity with those square cards where you figured out how big something would be if you switch around where you put the different numbers. You should have found that if the bigger numbers were exponents, you got a bigger number even though your base was a smaller number. Let's go ahead and try example 15. Here we go. A. Simplify the expression. Write your answer in exponential notation. We don't actually have to evaluate. We just want to simplify. 3 to the power of 4 to the power of 2 equals 3, 4 times 2 equals 3 to the power of 8. B. We have big brackets and parentheses inside. because we have 2/7 to the power of 6, the whole thing to the power of 4 equals 2/7. 6 times 4 equals 2/7 to the power of 24. See? 2a to the power of 5, the whole thing to the power of 3 equals 2a to the power of 5 times 3 equals 2a to the power of 15. Last one, d. We have negative x to the power of 4, whole thing to the power of 3 equals negative x to the power of 4 times 3 equals negative x to the power of 12 equals x to the power of 12. Now, let's talk about this negative sign for a second. Notice when it was in the parentheses, we kept it in the parentheses. You keep it in the parentheses until you evaluate your expression. Here it's in the parentheses. Now, negative x times itself 12 times. If it's an even number, you'll have an even number, all of the negatives will have pairs to cancel. If it's an odd number, then it will remain an odd number and you would not be able to simplify like this. This is only for even exponent. Now the difference is, make a little note on the side here, if it was negative x12 without the parentheses, it's almost like saying negative with parentheses x12. We are only doing x times x times x times itself 12 times, and after all that is said and done, then we can add the negative. So the answer overall here is going to be negative, whereas the one here is going to be positive. So just remember, if the x is not inside parentheses, the exponent does not apply to it. Exponent only applies to it if the negative sign is inside the parentheses. If it's out, exponent only applies to the number that it is on top of. So remember that. Go ahead and do guided practice 1, 2, and 3. Moving on, use properties of exponents to simplify expressions. You may need to use more than one property of exponents to simplify. We're going to combine all the ones we've learned so far of multiplying and adding and subtracting. We're going to combine all those together. Here is example 16. A, it says negative 4, notice inside the parentheses squared, times negative 4 inside the parentheses cubed, whole thing in parentheses 6. First, let's evaluate what's inside. Let's combine those together. So we get negative 4, 2 plus 3, because remember when they're multiplied, we add the exponents, whole thing to 6, equals, which I'm going to put down here, equals negative 4 to the power of 5, whole thing to the power of 6. Then you could say negative 4, the one we just learned, 5 times 6, and you could say that that equals negative 4 to the power of 30. Exponent is an even number, so we can say that it is 4 to the power of 30. This is in the parentheses and it's an even number, so this we can do. B, m to the power of 5 times m to the power of 3 outside all the parentheses equals m5 plus 1 inside the parentheses to the power of 3 equals m5 plus equals m6, because it's 5 plus 1 to the power of 3. Now we get to multiply these. M6 times 3 equals M18. See? 6 to the power of 4 times 6 to the power of 3, all to the power of 4, 6 to the power of 2 to the power of 5. When you get a big problem like this, it helps to start with parentheses. Start with parentheses, and then you can do everything on the top and everything on the bottom. Then you can combine them. So parentheses, top, bottom, and then all. Parentheses, top, bottom, all. Parentheses, top, bottom, all. Okay, let's start with parentheses. So these two are multiplied, which means it will be 6, 4, plus 3 to the power of 4 over 6 squared to the power of 5. Now let's simplify even more. We can say that 6 to the power of 7 to the power of 4 on the bottom, 6 to the power of 2 to the power of 5. So we've done parentheses. Done. Everything's done in the parentheses. Now let's do top and bottom. 6, 7 times 4, 6, 2 times 5 equals 628 over 610. Now we only have to subtract these. 628 minus 10 equals 618. That's our answer. Didn't circle it up here or there, so I'll circle those for you. A, B, and C. Now D. A4 times A2, all of it 4, divided by 2A8. Here we go. Inside the parentheses first, remember. So it's A4 plus 2, all to the power of 4, divided by 2A8. Now simplify again. You get A6, all to the power of 4, divided by 2A8. We've done inside the parentheses. Let's simplify this even more. 2, 6 times 4 for up here, divided by 2, oh, I'm sorry. My A's and my 2's look very similar. That's A. This is 2. I'll bring these a little bit higher. There's a bigger space there. 2A8 equals A24 divided by 2A8 equals A24 minus 8, because this is divided by that, but the 2 is still on the bottom, so we keep the 2 on the bottom, and then it's A16 over 2, which could also be written as, and I'll just put some parentheses because you don't have to do this, this is our answer. You could also know that 1/2 equals 0.5 A16. So if you don't want a fraction, these are the same thing. If you don't understand that part, just know this. That is totally fine. Go ahead and do guided practice 5, 6, 7, 8, and we will see you in class tomorrow.